Man, I am disgusted with head coach Kara Lawson, man. To me, it sounds like we going to get into this post-game interview where she is just making excuses. It sounds like she not really trying to address why Caitlin Clark wasn't involved, why she's not starting her, all of this stuff. It is absolute insanity.
Something unusual unfolded with Team USA, and it had nothing to do with the scoreboard. In the middle of a major tournament, the head coach suddenly disappeared, right after one player kept being sidelined. No explanation, no official reason, just silence. Then, almost overnight, the team's entire dynamic shifted. That's when things get truly intriguing. Was the coach really mishandling Caitlin Clark's role, or was something bigger at play? A head coach doesn't vanish like that. Not during a tournament. Not while games are ongoing and the team is still chasing victories. Yet that's exactly what happened, and people immediately took notice. Kara Lawson was in charge of Team USA. Everything seemed normal before tip-off. Deep roster, high expectations, and all eyes on one standout player, Caitlin Clark. Then the first game kicked off.
And the absolute ridiculousness. Listen, man, she talking about, with the ball movement was great and all that. Hell no, it wasn't. Kalia Copper don't pass to nobody. Kalia Copper might not pass to herself because it has to leave her hands in order to come back to herself, okay? Chelsea Gray being a starter over Caitlin Clark is absolutely ridiculous. At this point, Ray Burrell is going to enter the starting lineup before Caitlin Clark.
Clark started the game on the bench, which immediately shocked many fans. But what unfolded after that only deepened the confusion. In the minutes she did play, she set 5 records in a single outing. 5 records in one night. Something most players can't achieve over an entire tournament. Naturally, everyone expected a shift. Exceptional performance usually leads to more playing time, adjustments, and recognition. Yet in the second game, nothing changed. Clark stayed on the bench. That's when it began to feel off. Not just unusual, but wrong. When a player performs at that level and still isn't given a bigger role, it raises serious questions. The offensive style in those first 2 games didn't help either. It was painfully slow. The ball moved, but with hesitation. Players held on to it, ran extended sets, and often waited until the shot clock was almost gone to attempt a basket. That approach can work sometimes, but it completely stifled Clark. Her strengths are quickness, rapid decision-making, fast breaks, and reading the game before it unfolds. Slowing things down stripped her of her biggest advantage, and it affected the whole team. Without their primary playmaker directing the offense, shots became tougher, defenses settled in, and overall energy dipped. That's exactly what you saw. Team USA was winning, yes, but they weren't dominating. They weren't playing like a team with one of the most dynamic players in the world. Then came the matchup against Puerto Rico.
But the GOAT, Caitlin Clark, gave us a performance off of the bench. Okay, it is clear that Team USA functions better with Caitlin Clark at the helm. She gave us some bombs from Caitlin Clarkville, okay?
This was the point where things truly began to unravel. Clark saw even fewer minutes on the court, which immediately frustrated the fans. But then Puerto Rico made their intentions obvious. They deployed a box-and-one defense specifically to contain her. That means a single defender shadowed her constantly while the rest of the team protected the zone. Opponents don't use that strategy unless they see one player as a serious threat.
We got deep threes, we got dishes, we got connections. Team USA gets back into the swing of things with another big win over Italy.
So how did Team USA respond? Not much changed. The offense remained sluggish and stagnant. No quick adjustments, no fresh strategies, just the same slow-paced system. Fans noticed. Commentators noticed. Even casual observers could tell something wasn't clicking. And yet, Clark was still topping the team in efficiency and plus-minus. That's significant because it proves that even with limited minutes, she was still the most impactful player on the floor. After the game, Lawson faced questions about Clark. This was the chance to clarify, to provide reasoning, to show a plan was in place. Instead, the response was vague. No specifics, no proper explanation, just a general remark about everyone needing to contribute. That only fueled frustration. When a coach dodges a direct question like that, people assume there's something being concealed. Then came the biggest shock. Lawson simply stopped appearing. No official statement, no explanation, nothing. No detailed explanation, just gone. When Game 3 began, Nate Tibbetts was on the sideline leading the team. That was highly unusual. He hadn't been the head coach before, and no one expected him to step in. So how did he end up in that role? Clearly, someone made that decision behind the scenes. And without an official statement, people began piecing the story together themselves. The timing made it even more suspicious. This occurred right after the Puerto Rico game, right after questions about Clark grew louder, and right after a press conference that answered nothing. Then Tibbetts made his first move. He started Caitlin Clark. That was it. No drawn-out explanation, no waiting, just an immediate, decisive change. The result? A 55-point victory over New Zealand. Same roster, same team, completely different performance. The key difference was style of play. The pace sped up. The ball moved with urgency. Players got open shots earlier in the shot clock. The team looked far more at ease. Clark logged 23 minutes, scored 14 points, dished out 6 assists, and didn't commit a single turnover. That final stretch mattered because it demonstrated control and smart decision-making. This wasn't random, and it wasn't luck. It was the result of placing the right player in the right role. Some tried to downplay the victory, claiming the opponent wasn't strong, but that argument doesn't hold when you consider the entire tournament. Clark finished as the leader in efficiency and plus-minus, not just on her team, but among every player. Her impact was consistent. Then came the Italy game, a tougher challenge and a real test. Tibbetts stuck to the same approach. Fast pace, more freedom, Clark directing the offense. The outcome was another dominant performance, a 34-point win. By now, it was obvious. The system had changed, and it was working. The contrast between the two coaching styles couldn't be ignored. Under Lawson, the team moved slowly, structured, and controlled. Under Tibbetts, they played fast, free, and confident, and the results reflected that style. By the final matchup, there was no question left. Clark was now starting every game, logging the most minutes, and leading in nearly every major stat: points, assists, efficiency, plus-minus. And the records can't be ignored. 14 records in just 7 days. That's extraordinary. Keep in mind, most of that came when she wasn't even in the starting lineup. So the question is obvious. What might have happened if she had started from the beginning? Likely even bigger numbers, possibly more dominant wins. Now, let's consider Lawson. Was she officially removed? There's no public announcement, but the circumstances speak volumes. She was in charge one moment, gone the next, without explanation. A new coach took over and made a single significant change, starting Clark. The team's performance improved instantly. That doesn't seem like coincidence. It was a decision shaped by what was unfolding on the court. Sometimes organizations communicate through action rather than words. In this case, the message was unmistakable. The issue wasn't the players. It was how they were being utilized. Clark's role illustrated that perfectly. Once it was adjusted, everything else fell into place. Another thing people began to notice was the team's energy. Before, players seemed hesitant. They ran the plays, but there was a lack of confidence. You could see it in their movements, waiting for things to happen instead of making them happen. After the change, that uncertainty vanished. Players cut sharper, passed faster, and took shots with conviction. That kind of transformation doesn't happen by chance. It comes from clarity, knowing who is in charge and how the team wants to operate. Clark provided that direction. When she sped up the game, everyone had to match her tempo. Her quick reads created easier opportunities for teammates, simplifying the game for the entire team. That's what elite playmakers do. They don't just score, they elevate everyone around them. Another key point is how defenses responded once she was fully integrated. Previously, opponents could focus on containing her because the system made it easier to trap or limit her touches. But once the pace picked up, that strategy became far less effective. You can't run a perfect defense when the ball is already in motion. You can't double team effectively when passes are happening before defenders even reach position. That's why spacing improved. That's why teammates found themselves open more often. That's why the scoring climbed. Everything was connected. It also shows how small coaching decisions can create massive results. One tweak in the lineup, one adjustment in playing style, and suddenly the team clicks. That's why so many are questioning what happened earlier. The solution seemed simple. Put the ball in the hands of your best playmaker. Let her operate at her natural pace. Build the team around that. That's all. No intricate system required. No long adaptation period. Just straightforward basketball. Another factor worth noting is how fans reacted online. During the first 2 games, frustration was everywhere, flooding social media with clips, comments, and endless questions. Fans were questioning why Clark remained on the bench, why the offense moved so slowly, and why the team looked awkward on the court. After the coaching switch, those same situations appeared completely different. Highlights were being shared online. People talked about how entertaining the games were, and everyone noticed how much smoother everything had become. That change in perception matters. It shows just how clear the difference was. It wasn't subtle, it was obvious. And when something is that evident, it's much harder to defend previous choices. Another key element here is trust. Players need to feel their coach believes in them. When someone performs at a high level but still sees limited minutes, that trust can waver. But when a coach shows confidence by giving responsibility, it often brings out the player's best performance. That's exactly what happened here. Clark was trusted to take the lead, and she delivered. It's really that straightforward. Looking forward, this sequence will likely stick in people's minds because it revealed both sides of the story. What happens when a team underutilizes its talent, and what happens when that talent is fully unleashed? Examples like this don't fade quickly. Coaches, players, and fans alike will remember it because it answers a basic question: what actually works? And in this instance, the answer was obvious: fast pace, smart decision-making, and letting your best player take the lead. So now the question becomes clear. Was this just poor coaching, or was there something more happening behind the scenes? The timing, the silence, and the sudden shift all tell a story. Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more content like this.